So this is going to be a lifestyle video where I talk about how I maneuver around genetically modified foods, glyphosate, or Roundup. Stay tuned. I have a lot to say. So getting to the elephant in the room. Everyone is not dying from genetically modified foods, herbicides and pesticides, Roundup, glyphosate. Everyone isn't dying from it, but everyone is being affected by it. So in the video that I did about the documentary that I saw, which I will link below, there was a situation where the farmers wanted to increase milk production from their cows. So they gave the cows a genetically modified hormone. And in the video, there were about 30 cows, and a few of them that received the hormone, they all received it, but a few of them that received it died or were either sick or dying. And the majority of the cows went on and continued to live and do what cows do. And analyzing that, I see that just because the cows that appear to be unaffected continue to live, it doesn't mean that those hormones, that genetically modified nutrient, did not tax that cow's system, did not tax that cow's body, was not an extra stress put on that cow to manage out that toxin and keep them balanced and living. And in life, it's exactly the same way with human beings. People that don't die from the genetically modified foods, herbicides, and pesticides get allergies, they get emotional things, there's fallout. And just because I'm not faced with those challenges, it doesn't invalidate that these things that we're eating are harmful. People's bodies are able to manage differently. Like my body wasn't able to manage as well as my brother or my sister's body. We're all genetically different, and our body's going to react different to the different scenarios or stresses or pollutants or nutrition that we put in it. So that's what I want to talk about. So let me just say, I say loosely that people that eat genetically modified food have nothing that happens, but many people do have fallouts from eating genetically modified foods, but we're not trained, or we don't know how to listen to our body and listen to our symptoms. So I'm not going to say that just like in the video the cows were unaffected. There was an effect, we just couldn't, we didn't know the symptom, or we weren't able to examine that cow. But anyway, so me maneuvering in this genetically modified world, let me also say this before I get into that. Genetically modified foods and the impact that it is making on our world is truly evident, and all you have to do is just start listening. So I will have a commercial, a part of a commercial that I saw just sitting there about lawsuits that are being enforced because people are developing cancer from Roundup, which is a genetically modified herbicide and pesticide. You may be entitled to compensation. Call Sokolov Law now at 1-800-494-9603. And hopefully I will link that in here. And then also, there was something else that I caught on YouTube, which I will link below, about the genetically modified herbicide, pesticide, Roundup. It's runoff. So, from my understanding, herbicides and pesticides, whether you're buying organic or not, is touching every part of the planet. It's coming out of the rain, it's in the clouds, it's in the air, it's everywhere. So everyone is being dosed at some amount with Roundup, with herbicides and pesticides. And so in this video, they were talking about that how our water system works, and I'm talking about condensation and stuff like that. The runout is running down into the Gulf, and it's coming down in large portions into the Gulf, and it's creating a dead zone, and it's killing all life in this part of the ocean. And I thought that that was absolutely profound. And I don't think the video had that many hits, but it was like, wow, it just shows that the things that we do are damaging the planet, and when we damage the planet, we're damaging ourselves. So I will link that video in the description box below, and I deduce things from that video as well. So my thing is that clearly there's no way to escape herbicides and pesticides. Hopefully through labeling you can escape genetically modified foods, but we're all being dosed at some amount with herbicides and pesticides. So there's 2 points that I want to make. Let me go with the second point. First point is that there is an effect on how much of the herbicides and pesticides that a person is getting. There's also implications in what type of nutrient is in the food that has been affected by or touched with these herbicides and pesticides. So if someone is not eating organically grown food, they're getting a food that is devoid of nutrients, a food that has been treated with not just herbicides and pesticides, but all kind of things that they do to prop up the food and make it look, smell, and taste good. So there's no nutrient. It has extra pollutants and things that the body has to deal with. And then it's not just, maybe touched or dripped with glyphosate. It is doused with it. This is how they treat the food. This is how they produce the food. So that food is going to be more harmful than my organically grown food that may have had some rainfall with the glyphosate on it. Lightly drizzled with glyphosate versus it was definitely treated with glyphosate and all of the other things that, genetically modified foods come with. So the next thing that I want to talk about is that there's clearly a difference or a harsher effect when per dosing, how much you actually get in your lifestyle, in your life, and in your body. And in the video about the dead zone that's being created in the Gulf, it shows that. So per the video, when they treat the land, they're treating the land with amount of glyphosate or herbicides and pesticides, and they have that all scientifically measured out. But when that runoff happens, that's running off, and it's getting it from all over this continent, or all over this basically this continent. And it's all gathering in one location, and if it were just a little bit of it, there would be no dead zone, but it's getting it in concentrated amounts, and it's killing all life in this part of the ocean. So that tells me that there is something that I need to watch out for as far as how much direct contact I'm getting with herbicides and pesticides and glyphosate, because the more that I'm suggested to, the harder it is for my body to detoxify, to manage, to balance itself off, and the more health fallouts that I can experience. So applying these two ideals and how I manage, there's no way to escape genetically modified herbicides and pesticides, and that there is a lethal amount, a concentrated amount that begins to be detrimental, harmful to life, and harmful to your health and body. So the way that I do this is, one, I don't buy anything that has items on it when I read the back of the label that I can't read, that I don't recognize as food. I don't buy anything that has chemical ingredients in it, and even if I don't know clearly what it is, I will look it up. So that's number one, and that's the way that ensures that I'm not adding on to the concentration amounts, and I'm not adding on to adding additional stuff for my body to have to manage out. So when I buy organic, I'm not getting concentrated amounts of Roundup or herbicide or genetically or herbicides and pesticides, because that's not the way organic food is treated. So, granted, as I've already said, that there are very few places in the United States that are not affected by this runoff, but my organic food was not directly douse treated with these harmful chemicals and toxins. So that is less work and less impact I'm going to experience on my body and in my health. And so um, I don't buy things, whether they have food claims or not. I don't buy things like Skittles and Snicker bars and candies. I don't buy them. At one point in time, they all said genetically modified. I don't buy like my favorite cereal, which used to be Captain Crunch and Lucky Charms. I don't buy them. They don't have nutrients, and the nutrients that they do have, those are genetically modified, and they have to put them in there after the effect. After the fact, because in the video, please check it out. It talks about how genetically modified foods and these foods treated with these herbicides and pesticides are devoid of nutrients. They have very little nutrients. So in these things, not the candies, but like the cereals and stuff like that, they have to go ahead and put nutrient in there, and it's not even organic nutrient. So I don't eat them. I don't eat cookies and pastries and stuff like that. There's no need for me to eat those. They're already, at a zero as far as really being helpful, a good thing for you to focus on and eating. And when I was a kid, it'd be like you would get cavities or you would gain weight, and that's like, those are natural, normal things. But they're taking something that was at a zero and they have put it at a negative. So now it's not that you're going to just get cavities or gain weight or whatever. This stuff is killing people. This stuff is breaking down people's bowels and giving people mental ADHD and stuff like that. So it's not a necessity. That is my effort to balance out my situation and to make my eliminations and keep myself from being a dead zone, basically, just full of genetically modified foods and these herbicides. Like I said in the video that I did about my eliminations, which I will link in the description box below, there's a fine line when you're getting this knowledge where you can become a paranoid, conspiracy theorist, recluse, minimalist, depressed, anxiety-filled person. When you're getting this knowledge and finding out how much corruption, how much thoughtlessness, carelessness is out there concerning just the food industry. And God forbid, I know that I'm not supposed to live that way. Be sound-minded, self-controlled. And I'm a foodie. That's one of the things, the simple pleasures in life that I can do that is not sinful or scornful or anything like that. I'm entitled to and able to enjoy food. Now me saying that there is a time and a season for everything. So back in 2012, when I was at ground zero and I was dying and on a deathbed, stiff with rigor mortis, I wasn't focusing on enjoying food. I didn't even want to eat food. And the food that I did eat, I made sure, it was an effort to make sure that I got things that were benefiting my recovery and benefiting healing. And I've been on a journey. And I'm at a point in my journey where I put in the work with making my eliminations and drawing my lines about the food and the conditions that I'm putting my body in, and I'm able to enjoy things like gummy bears. I eat gummy bears, not every day, not once a month, but Black's Forest has these organic gummy bears, and I will give me some gummy bears, some gummy worms, or Walmart, Whole Foods, Sprouts has, and I think even Target has these organic cookies and brownies that you have to make them. I'll eat those. Now, not like I said, not every day. It's not a focus, but it's a part of life and it's a part of enjoying life. And intelligently, I will cook me some organic, whatever, pleasurable food, and I will consume it and enjoy myself. I believe that's all that I wanted to say. Until next time, thanks for watching.